Welcome to Spotlight on Lakewood. I'm Mayor Adam Paul. What makes a great community? It's the people that live in it. And from time to time, it's important to recognize those who are doing incredible things. That's why the Mayor's Inspiration Award was created. It gave an opportunity for those in our community to take a look and nominate people who are doing incredible things. And we have many of the great recipients to hear a little bit of what they're doing in Lakewood, day in and day out. First, we have Scott McNeil from Foothills Credit Union. Foothills Credit Union has been a wonderful sponsor of so many of Lakewood's cultural and art activities, as well as providing financial literacy courses for school institutions, churches, and other organizations. Scott, welcome.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're excited. So talk a little bit about your financial literacy program. Tell the community about it.
First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking you, Mayor Paul, and the City of Lakewood for this honor. We're truly humbled by it and appreciative of that. I would be very remiss if I did not give a shout out to Matt Logan, who's our marketing director at Foothills Credit Union. Matt's very visible in the community, and he's primarily responsible for the financial literacy programs that we do use today. Our financial literacy programs are designed around mostly banking, credit union type products, how to obtain a loan, the importance of obtaining credit and maintaining that credit, setting up savings programs, what do checking accounts look like, various things like that. Some of the organizations that we've partnered with in the city to provide that financial literacy are the Lakewood Head Start program, the Metro West Housing Authority, and then the City of Lakewood employees directly. And Matt does a lot of work with the city directly in terms of financial literacy.
Oh, no, that's great. And on a personal note, I've known Matt since about the second grade, so it's cool to continue seeing him out in the city. But that's really cool to provide that service. You also have matching programs for different charities. Is that accurate?
That's correct. We are partnered with a company called Complete Spectrum. They actually created this donation program that you're referencing. And here again, shout out to Matt because he's our primary contact in working with Complete Spectrum. And basically, it's a way for us to share a little bit about Foothills Credit Union. Complete Spectrum shares some things about themselves, and then we donate to the organization that's putting on the event. It's a fundraising type of event. How it works basically is that the organization, and I'll pick on Lakewood High School, they've done quite a few events with us, and softball program, for example, will decide to do a fundraiser for their team. We take an hour and share with them a little bit about our organizations, and then based on the head count that shows, we donate money up to $5,000 to the organization that we're sharing with. So it's been a lot of fun. We've got to meet a lot of people. Churches have taken advantage of it. Some of the elementary schools in Lakewood have taken advantage of it, as well as the high schools.
Yeah, that's great. I hope our viewers will be able to take a look and look into the program and maybe find an opportunity there as well.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the West Colfax Community Association. We're joined by the past president and member, Dan Lundin. Dan, thanks for coming out today.
Thanks, Mayor. Really appreciate the opportunity to represent the West Colfax community.
Yeah, so a lot going on West Colfax, and your organization is really grassroots. So share with us a little bit about maybe who you are or what you're doing or where you're going.
Wow, thanks. So the West Colfax Community Association really is a partnership between local citizens, business owners, nonprofit organizations, and your staff, the government. And we all come together. We've got one goal in mind, and that's to energize West Colfax and make it the best place to live, work, and play in the metro area.
Yeah, and for those folks who have probably been in Lakewood for a long time, they've seen the glory of West Colfax fade a little bit, but they're also starting to see that come back. And I think the community owes a lot of that to you and your membership and the long-term members like Cathy Hatfield or Maddie Nichols, who've really believed in the renaissance of West Colfax, and you guys have taken it and run with it.
It's huge. You know, you go up and down the corridor and there's a renaissance going on. I mean, it's that simple. And it's creating this vibe that's electric. I mean, you've got young families, millennials moving into the area, and basically for the location, but not just because of the location near the light rail, but all of the cultural and entertainment activities. We've got the 40 West Arts line, which is over 70 different art installations that we worked with your staff on. We've got new breweries, new restaurants. Broad Street is taken over. Lamar Station Plaza. Just so many things going on. I can't even begin to list them all. There's just so many activities.
Well, Dan, thank you. That's quite an impact that your organization is having on West Colfax. We look forward to seeing what becomes of the future.
Thanks, Mayor.
Next up, we have Kaleidoscope Therapy Services, and I have Kelly Garcia-Brauch, who's with me today, and she's going to talk a little bit about their unique program and a really important segment of our community that you serve. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, please share with us a little bit about what you and Kaleidoscope does.
So Kaleidoscope Therapy Services is a mental health agency that's located in Lakewood. It's on the corner of Jewel and Pierce. It was full-time as of 2009, and it started out as a solo mission to provide quality mental health services within the community to individuals that may not otherwise receive them. So we provide a variety of individual therapy services, mental health evaluations, and we have a specific interest in working with children that have been either abused or neglected in their families. Hence the HUGS program was born. HUGS stands for Help Under the Guidance of Service Professionals. It's a mouthful, hence the acronym of HUGS. But what HUGS really does is allows for families to receive front-loaded benefits from a registered nurse and a therapist or social worker that goes out to the home to prevent children from being removed from their home due to the possibility of abuse and neglect. It's a wraparound service mentality that our community really has never had before. Super proud of it, and we are incredibly blessed to be able to have it funded through Medicaid. If people are not able to pay out of pocket for it, we also offer sliding fee scales.
Wow. Well, I think our community is blessed. You know, that's sad that we even have to have some of these services, but so important that you're there to kind of be that stopgap to help our most precious resource.
We are humbled and so privileged. Thank you.
Very cool. So talk a little bit about funding. I think that's something we've seen not only on the local but national level, and there's been new attention paid to mental health funding. How do people access or find out if they are eligible for your services?
Sure, so not everybody is covered under insurance, and so we do offer a sliding fee scale that's completely based upon income. We also have a big push to service those that are most disadvantaged or people that are only on Medicaid. So we are a Medicaid provider that provides a variety of services, but the drive is really to get as many people serviced as possible, and the financial piece is a secondary thought.
Wow. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing your mission with our community.
Of course.
Next up, Cathy Hatfield. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I think many might recognize you from the many different things that you do, whether it's Belmar Sustainable Neighborhoods or Alameda Gateway Community Association, and most recently as the interim executive director of the Action Center.
Thank you. Well, I have been very busy. Actually, I spent 11 years with the Action Center over the last number of years, and with Alameda Gateway, I was privileged to work there for a couple years. And certainly, Belmar Community Connection is an organization that we helped start in the area. It's a registered neighborhood, and as part of that, we did apply to the Belmar Sustainable Neighborhoods, and we've been a outstanding neighborhood for the last 6 years. Yeah. And then in addition to that, I've taught school here in Lakewood and worked with the Learning Source, and just have been involved in the community since the time I was 5. We weren't Lakewood then.
Wow. Yeah, it's remarkable, and I know that you'd probably want to be anywhere else but here today to be honored, but it's really important that we do have this opportunity to thank you for all the different things that you've done. Whenever there's been a need, you've stepped in and tried to fill it, and you've just done it under the radar, so this is our chance to thank you.
Oh, thank you. And it's really not about me, it's all those people that worked with me. I can't tell you how important it is that all of us work together in order to make our community the best community we can. Lakewood is wonderful, and by having positive energy and involving a lot of people, we can just make it better and better.
So what drives you? When you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I could be done and retired, but I'm going to take on a challenge of running the Action Center again.
And that's part of it, taking on challenges. I really have tried to do a lot of things that match with my values, and they're anywhere from integrity, education, public service, and so on. Opportunities I've looked for, but most often they found me, and so I've been able to do that. So it's really about making a difference in the community, making sure that I'm giving back, and helping our community be successful in a lot of different ways. And if there's some creativity in there, that's great too.
So tell me, is there one thing you could pick that you're most proud of?
Oh, I'm going to go back to high school because that's not recent. When I was in high school, we had a club called Key Club. Yep. Well, you know what? When I was in high school, you could not join Key Club if you were female. And so at that point, I said, this is not right. So a group of friends and I got together. We couldn't manage to break that barrier at that point, but we did start our own girls' service club. And that was right here in the Lakewood area. And that was in the late 60s. So from then on, I've been trying to break those barriers.
Love it. Girl power. Well, thank you. Thanks for being here and for all you do.
Well, thank you. I'm privileged to be here, and I appreciate that.
You know, one of the things about this award program is it really shows the needs that are in our community, and it's the reaction to how these folks, you know, get engaged to make things better and really just take one thing, see it, and change it. And that's what Beth has helped us do at Westgate Elementary. So, Beth, welcome. Thank you for being here today. So you saw a need at Westgate. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Westgate is a Title I school, which means that 65% of our student body is on a free or reduced lunch. And a lot of people think that in South Jeffco we don't have those hunger disparity issues, and they're kind of silent. And we started talking more as a parent organization and with the staff on how we could engage these at-risk families and bring them in the door of the school to involve them. And it became clear as the conversations continued that it's hard to engage on things like conferences and academics and social events when you're trying to worry about how to provide for basic needs for your family, like food and clothing and shelter. So we started a food pantry and a backpack organization at our school to sort of help these families bridge the gap when they needed help with those items. And what's been really cool to watch is how it has engaged the entire community around our school. We have people that don't have students that attend and that are older, had kids that graduated from Westgate that have come forward to kind of help us organize the hub or donate food, and it's just been exciting to watch it kind of take shape. And we're hoping this year to provide resources to these families and continue on that idea of being a community hub. And so it's been exciting to watch.
Yeah, that's really cool. And a lot of times, unfortunately, in the city of Lakewood, we are very blessed. And so people in need may fly under the radar. And so your elementary school, Westgate, most folks might drive through and look and say, there couldn't be those types of needs here.
Right.
And so you've stepped up and said, you know, there is, and we're going to serve.
Right. Yeah, I think that's true. And I think that for us, my main goal is for every kid to walk in the door of the school and be ready to learn and be excited for learning and develop that passion for learning. And we do that by sort of making sure that all of their needs are met. And so we do that through the hub and the backpack program.
It's really hard to learn when you're worried about where your next meal is coming
right.
from instead of, you know, doing your schoolwork. And it's not only food or helping in that regard, also some sports and engaging kids in recess.
Yeah, so we talked about bringing in the Playworks organization last year. It's an organization that basically empowers children through play. And it became clear that we weren't going to be able to afford to bring a Playworks coach in full time, so we did some fundraising. And we're able to do that this year. And it's great because they focus on things like inclusion and respect and problem solving. And I think it's just really going to enhance the culture at our school. And again, it sort of feeds into that whole idea of community hub within the school, because kids that are well fed and play hard are ready to learn.
Well, thank you very much. You're doing incredible things. Our schools really are our hubs. Many of our neighborhoods are named after our elementary schools, and that's how they're identified. And they are really the building block of a great neighborhood, is what is going on at the elementary school. So next we have Jane Dvorak, who's here representing the volunteers of CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates for Jefferson and Gilpin County. And you are representing all the volunteers. And you do really special things for, again, kids who are in need and potentially facing some of the worst things that we see in our community. Talk to us a little bit.
Yeah, I get the pleasure of representing all of the Jefferson and Gilpin County volunteers for CASA. So what an honor for that, and thank you for honoring us with this award, because the work that we do is not the easiest work. We work with kids that are in the dependency and neglect court system and how they're navigating through that process, and they're suffering sometimes physical, emotional, abuse, and as they sometimes are separated from families, or families are working through those traumatic times, CASAs come in and provide a voice and an eyes and ears for the court system to ensure that those kids are remaining safe, that they're getting the resources that they need. We talk about the HUGS program, but and ensuring that things are happening at the school, that they aren't falling back in their educational academic excellence, and we become the constant in that relationship. Generally, it's been my experience. In fact, on my very last case, over almost a 20-month period, I was the only person from start to finish. And so CASAs meet with the kids on a weekly basis. We do everything from help them with homework to help them try and understand and process through the situations that they're dealing with, whether those abuses have been perpetrated against themselves, or sometimes it might be a parent that's dealing with some sort of addiction that's resulted in a neglect situation. So helping them to process and to understand how, one, to not let that define them, two, how to be able to be a child and understand that playtime is okay. You don't need, oftentimes they become the parent. And so as a CASA, we get the privilege of taking our most vulnerable children in the community and ensuring that they see life from a different perspective. At least that's my opinion. I have 3 kids, and I feel they're pretty privileged. And so this is an opportunity for these kids to be able to see that education is important and how to get a job. Some of them, depending upon if you're working, it can be kids from newborn all the way up to 18 years old when they emancipate out. So it can give them an opportunity just to see what are their choices in high school, getting you through high school, and then how do you apply to college. And so CASAs can perform those kinds of life skills, teach them how to cook, or how to read maps, or how to get out into the outdoors and enjoy and not be tied to devices, and understanding how the world works around them in a positive way and in a positive influence.
And so how does that make you feel?
Wow.
Wow, there you go.
See, I can get all teary about that. The CASA kids are so, they are so grateful for the opportunity to have someone who will listen to them and to really hear what they're needing and what they're struggling with, and to not be judgmental. And so for me as a CASA, it's an opportunity to hope that other kids will have the same privileges that my own family has experienced, and I myself, I had 2 great parents. So, and I really believe as a CASA that when we elevate others, we elevate everyone. So as these kids get to see that life can be very different, that you can hold down a job, that you can be self-sufficient, that you can have confidence, that you do have a voice, and that there is someone who will advocate for you. I believe that we instill in them an ability to be resilient, to embrace the opportunities that come forth to them. And I really believe that somewhere back in their little mind, some many years from now, they're going to be, there was that crazy CASA Jane. And I remember she told me, and now I'm living it out. And so sometimes it's just teaching them how to save.
You bet.
Or, again, applying for a job or doing better on a test. So it's my
a great
job to
organization.
incorporate that.
So we're thrilled to honor all all the volunteers.
Well, I'm pretty honored to be able to be the one that gets to tell you all how amazing they all are, because I'm just one of many that serve hundreds of children within Jefferson County and in Lakewood. And so, having been born, raised, and stayed here, it's an opportunity for me to give back, and the many people that I get the opportunity to work with that do the very same.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again to all of you. And I think one takeaway is the fact that you may never know whose life you touch, but one day down the road they'll remember something, and they can then carry what you're doing forward and try to make their communities a better place. So I'm going to end with wow. Take that from you. Wow.
You're welcome.
To all of you. And again, thanks. It's an honor. You truly are inspirations. I hope you enjoyed this segment of Spotlight on Lakewood. 2018 is Be Bold. I encourage you to get out there, pick one thing that you might see and make a difference. Remember, together we'll do great things. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you next time.